All right. So Senator Elizabeth Warren had to school Pete Hegseth on hypocrisy to his face, and she brought the receipts to prove it. It is wild. She literally reads his own words back to him, quotes from his book, his podcasts, and he sits there pretending he has no clue what she is talking about. It is totally disqualifying. He walked into that hearing room thinking he could just, smile and charm his way through the confirmation process, assuming that nobody would actually check the record. He assumed that 12 years of toxic, misogynistic, anti-military ranting would just disappear because he got a job offer from Donald Trump. But it became a public dismantling of a man who has absolutely no business leading the Department of Defense. Let's watch this blast from the past, and I'll give you my take at the end.
Thank you, Mr. Hegseth. Senator Warren.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And Mr. Hegseth, thank you. Thank you for your service. So if you're confirmed as Secretary of Defense, you will oversee our military, including about 250,000 women who currently serve on active duty in the Army, the Navy, the Air Force, the Space Forces, and the Marines. And I have serious concerns that your behavior toward women disqualifies you from serving in this role. Now, I've been trying to get answers from you for quite some time on this. You haven't wanted to meet or to answer any of my questions, so we'll just have to do it here and dive in. I want to pick up on some of the questions asked by Senators Shaheen and Gillibrand and Hirono, and I just want to make sure we have a list of some of the facts that I think are undisputed. I'm not going to talk about anonymous sources. I'm just going to quote you directly. We've got the video. We've got it in print. So going back to January 2013, you told a Fox News interviewer that women in the military simply couldn't measure up to men in the military, saying that allowing women to serve in combat roles would force the military to lower the bar. You picked up on that same theme in 2015, making remarks on Fox News, referring to women in combat as, quote, it would erode standards. June 2024, you said on Ben Shapiro's podcast, quote, women shouldn't be in combat at all. And then, of course, we've talked about it in 2024. You published a book, and you say on page 26 of your book, we need moms, but not in the military, especially in combat units. Page 48 of your book, you claim that women should not be in combat roles because men are distracted by women. And then 10 weeks ago, you appeared on the Sean Ryan show and said, I'm straight up just saying we should not have women in combat roles. Now, I presume you recall making all these statements?
Senator, I'm not familiar with the article you're pointing to in 2013, but it underscores my argument completely because in that 2013 argument, I was talking about standards.
No,
standards are what it's always been about,
Senator. Let's not have this same fight again.
Always been about Senate
I've quoted
standards.
you directly. We've got the video. We're happy to show it. But I want to be clear here. For 12 years, you were quite open about your views, and your views were consistently the same. Women are inferior soldiers, sailors, Marines, airmen, and guardians. And in case anyone missed the point, and these are your words from 10 weeks ago, women absolutely straight up should not be permitted to serve in combat. And I notice on each of these quotes, those are said without qualification. It's not by how much you can lift or how fast you can run. They don't belong in combat, period, or your words, straight up. And then on November 9th, 2024, just 32 days after your last public comment saying that women absolutely should not be in combat, you declared that, quote, some of our greatest warriors are women, and you support having them serve in combat. Now, that is a very, very big about face in a very, very short period of time. So help me understand, Mr. Hegseth, what extraordinary event happened in that 32-day period that made you change the core values you had expressed for the preceding 12 years?
Senator, again, I very much appreciate you bringing up my comments from 2013 because for me, this issue has always been about standards. And unfortunately, because of some of the people that have been in political power for the last 4 years, priorities other than standards, lethality, and meritocracy have driven decision-making.
I'm quoting you from the podcast. women shouldn't be in combat at all. Where is the reference to standards that they should be there if they can carry, if they can run? I don't see that at all, Mr. Hegseth. What I see is that there's a 32-day period in which you suddenly have another description about your views of women in the military. And I just want to know, what changed in the 32 days that the song you sang is not the song you come in here today to sing?
Senator, the concerns I have and the concerns that many have had, especially in ground combat units, is that in pursuit of certain percentages or quotas, standards have been changed. And that makes the combat more difficult
let me make a
for everybody
suggestion
involved.
about what happened in that 32 days. You got a nomination from President Trump. Now, I've heard of deathbed conversions, but this is the first time I've heard of a nomination conversion. And I hope you understand that many women serving in the military right now might think that if you can convert so rapidly your long-held and aggressively pursued views in just 32 days, that 32 days after you get confirmed, maybe you'll just reverse those views and go back to the old guy who said straight up, women do not belong in combat. Now, Mr. Hegseth, you have written that after they retire, generals should be banned from working for the defense industry for 10 years. You and I agree on the corrosive effects of the revolving door between the Pentagon and defense contractors. It's something I would have liked to talk with you about if you'd come and been willing to visit with me. But the question I have for you on this is, will you put your money where your mouth is and agree that when you leave this job, you will not work for the defense industry for 10 years?
Senator, it's not even a question I've thought about because
You can
it's
think
not
about
one
it right
that,
now.
It's not one, my motivation for this job
I understand
has never
that. I
been
just
about
need
what
a
could
yes or no
conceivably
here.
come next.
Time is short. I just need a yes or no.
I would consult with the president about what the policy should be
In
at the Defense
other
Department.
words, you're quite sure that every general who serves should not go directly into the defense industry for 10 years. But you're not willing to make that same pledge?
I'm not a general, Senator.
You'll be the one, let us just be clear, in charge of the generals. So you're saying sauce for the goose, but certainly not sauce for the gander?
I would want to see what the policy of the
Oh,
president
I'll
is.
bet you would.
Thank you, Senator Warren. Senator Tuberville.
I mean, honestly, do they think we are stupid? Seriously? For over a decade, this guy has been on every microphone, every camera, writing in his own books that women, half the population, are somehow biologically incapable of serving in combat. Straight up. That is his quote. Straight up. He rejected them completely. Regardless of standards, regardless of ability, he said they don't belong there. Period. And now that he wants the big desk at the Pentagon, suddenly, in the last 32 days, he has had this miraculous epiphany. It is insulting. It is insulting to every woman in uniform. And frankly, it is insulting to our intelligence. You watch him sitting there, trying to pivot, trying to say, oh, it has always been about standards. Give me a break. You spend years calling women distractions and claiming they erode the military and then hide behind standards when you get caught. That is pure cowardice. It is political cowardice. And the nomination conversion? I mean, that is the perfect way to describe it. You have to wonder, right? Does he actually believe anything? Or does he just believe in whatever gets him power? Because if you can flip your core values in a month just to please Donald Trump, then you don't have core values. You have talking points, and you are willing to sell them to the highest bidder. But then it gets even worse. Because beyond the misogyny, we see this breathtaking hypocrisy on ethics. This part made my blood boil. He is out there writing manifestos about how we need to stop the revolving door, right? He wants to ban generals, the people who actually served their country for decades. He wants to ban them from working in the defense industry for 10 years. Okay, fine. Sounds noble. Sounds like he cares about corruption. But the split second, he is asked to take that same pledge, to apply that same ethical standard to himself. He folds. I haven't thought about it. You haven't thought about it? You wrote the book on it. Literally. It is rules for thee, but never for me. That is the MAGA way, isn't it? They want to police everyone else. They want to strip everyone else of their rights and their opportunities while they refuse to follow the same laws. And that line, "I am not a general. Did you hear the room? Did you hear that nervous laughter?" That was a confession. He is telling us exactly who he is. He thinks he is above the rules because he is a political appointee, not a career soldier. He wants to be the boss of the generals. He wants to order them around, impose these strict bans on their careers. But him? Oh no, he needs to keep his options open for when he cashes out. It is pathetic. Truly. We are talking about the Secretary of Defense. We need seriousness, we need integrity, and we need someone who actually respects the troops, all of the troops. And what we got instead was a deer in the headlights, caught in his own web of lies, unable to answer a simple yes or no question about his own ethics. If this doesn't disqualify him, I don't know what does. So, I have to ask you, do you buy this conversion? Do you believe for 1 second that he actually changed his mind, or is this just another grift? Let me know what you think in the comments, and if you want to see us keep exposing these frauds, make sure you hit that subscribe button. We are going to keep holding them accountable. And I'll catch you guys in the next video.